a little bit quicker than I think some people who aren't in our space and paying attention to all the movie news might expect. A Beetlejuice sequel is coming out this year. It comes out in September. We got Michael Keaton returning. We've got Tim Burton back in the director's chair. We've got Jenna Ortega joining the cast. I think Winona Ryder is in it too. I think that she's coming back. So we've got returning cast. We've got a returning director. Now, one of the things about a Beetlejuice sequel, especially in the day and age of today and the day and age of Tim Burton today, is how heavy are we going to be with the CGI? Because when you look at that old Beetlejuice movie, the one from the 80s, the original, it's very practical, puppet work, animatronic work, very, very lived in feeling of a movie. That's part of its charm for me as well. And when you look at Tim Burton over these other past few years, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, heavily CGI. Dumbo that he did, heavily CGI. So the question was, is Beetlejuice 2 going to be heavily CGI'd? Well, we have our answer from Michael Keaton. He did an interview with People magazine regarding Beetlejuice 2, and he talked about returning with Tim Burton and not wanting to do it till it felt right, and yada, 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 all that stuff that they always say about movies. But one part of this magazine interview that he did catch my attention when he talked about what can we expect CGI-wise from Beetlejuice 2. Here's what Michael Keaton had to say about this. The one thing that he, referring to Tim Burton, and I decided on early on from the beginning, if we ever did it again, I was totally not interested in doing something where there was too much technology, he says. It had to feel handmade. What made it fun was watching somebody in the corner actually holding something up for you, to watch everybody in the shrunken headroom and say, those are people under there operating these things, trying to get it right. It's the most exciting thing, says Keaton, when you get to do that again after years of standing in front of a giant screen pretending that somebody's across the way from you. This is just enormous fun. And that comes to us from Michael Keaton and People magazine. So I'll tell you right now, Jacob, when I heard this, or when I read this rather, that's how I felt. I felt, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Because Beetlejuice 2, it's been talked about for years, but it really feels like it kind of came out of nowhere to me. And the fact that we're getting it in September is just crazy. And I'm not the biggest Tim Burton fan. We've never talked about this, so I don't know how you feel about Tim Burton. I imagine, let me guess, you're probably a pretty big fan of Tim Burton.
I like more of his stuff than bad. Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, okay, yeah. I like Beetlejuice. Edward Scissorhands, I like. That's kind of it. Like I there's not really even Batman Returns. I don't like Batman Returns.
I was gonna say the Batman '89. So
I like it. I like it less than I used to, but I like it. I'll throw that in. So Batman '89, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. I don't like much else Tim Burton's done, especially recently. I don't really like a lot that Tim Burton has done.
Did you watch Wednesday?
I never did get around to it, but I heard that was kind of like a comeback for him because I really didn't like Dumbo. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was like 2005, but I really didn't like that either. So anyways, when they were bringing him back, that was a worry of mine because, like I said, I do like Beetlejuice, the original, and one of the things I really like about that movie is the practicality, is how everything feels so tangible. I love the effects. One of my favorite effects in that movie is when the flattened guy comes in the screen and he like has the tire tracks and he's run over when they're exploring the afterlife and all that stuff. Like, there's just so much fun creativity put on the screen using those puppeteers and animatronics and practical effects that when they were talking about doing a Beetlejuice 2 and bringing back Tim Burton and knowing that it's the Tim Burton of today's era, I always had this like, oh, but like, is it going to look too CGI-y? Are they going to ditch all that stuff? So the fact that we got Michael Keaton here, possibly giving a dig at the Flash with the whole, I'm glad I'm not standing in front of a screen anymore. I'm sure it's not just the Flash, but I'm sure the Flash is in there. Saying that like it's fun to go back to practicality. It's great to see people actually operating these things. Like, that just makes me even more excited to see this because it sounds like it's going to have the same original feel as the first one. Jacob, what do you think of these comments? What do you think of Michael Keaton coming out here saying Beetlejuice 2, don't fear, it's not going to have CGI heavy elements?
I mean, you stole the words right out of my mouth. The thing about that original Beetlejuice is like, so you said the wall guy, so I'll do a different example. So the scene where the lawyer lady is saying to the two couple, they're like, I want to see what you can. What do you got? Like, what's scary? And so when Alec Baldwin like grabs his face and like pulls it out, and then she like
Mhm.
opens her jaw, it's stop motion. But once
Yep.
they're like standing still, that is that is a prosthetic, that is makeup. So for them to announce they're doing that, I mean, any movie lover out there, you should be clapping right now because that's what we want. I mean, every time you see a movie review with movies that have CGI, what is one criticism you might hear? Too much CGI. So I mean, I am all for it. I love like the original Beetlejuice is top 30 all time for me. It's not my top 10, but like I love that original Beetlejuice. I'm also like, okay, when you start naming Tim Burton movies, you named pretty much the ones like I like love. I like Tim Burton. I like his style. I like the gothic tones, whatever, but like the movies you named are the ones I love. So like I love Beetlejuice. I love Edward Scissorhands. I love 89 Batman. I enjoy Batman Returns. I am one of those people. But I wasn't a big fan. I mean, it's okay. Dark Shadows, the Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie is just. I blame more of Johnny Depp than Tim Burton,
Mm.
but he's also the director, so you kind of got to put blame on him.
I think Ed Wood is his best movie that I've seen.
Ed Wood is also really good. I forgot about that
That's
one.
like the one that I'll say I love.
That's a great one, though. The one movie that everyone loves that I don't really like is Mars Attacks. I don't really care for Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I was kind of let down by Mars Attacks. It
I
wasn't as
say
great as I thought.
I really just don't care for it. But with all that said, I really enjoyed Wednesday, even though it had some CGI quality. Like that was like, And it's funny because I don't know if you saw, but Jenna Ortega, like a week ago or very recently, basically said the same thing. She was like, "We're gonna have real things on set. Like it's not just green screen." So for her and Beetlejuice himself, that's all I can really say. I hope it's good. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, me too. And like, I don't want to come across as like I hate CGI because like CGI is heavily criticized, but CGI is also used very well to the point that people don't even realize it's there, and they don't realize that that they're being used, and they'll be like, "Oh, this movie had like no CGI." They finally listened to, and it's like, no, they did. Newsflash: Napoleon has CGI, and it's it's not just the scene with like, yeah, what you got?
What you just said is a great example. Hey, everybody, we all love Jurassic Park. Did you know there's more CGI than there are animatronic dinosaurs? It's
Yes,
because dinosaurs and they
it's
do
the
it
way
perfectly.
you use it.
Yes.
And that's what Steven Spielberg did with that first Jurassic Park, right? When you're far away and you have to see the full scale CGI. When you're up close and it needs to feel personal to the actors, you throw in an animatronic and you make it look damn good. And that's what he did.
One of my favorite shots is the shot where it's in the car when the T-Rex escapes the pen, and it's Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill, and the T-Rex is right here and it hits its head on the door.
Yep.
Animatronic. Camera zooms in. When the dinosaurs walk into the other car, CGI.
CGI. Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing too, is there's going to be CGI in
Oh,
Beetlejuice too. Like
100%.
there is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, it's how you use it though. And it's how you use it well. And it sounds like that's what they're going to be doing with Beetlejuice too. Like it sounds like where they can go practical, where it can get that tangible feel, where CGI isn't necessarily needed, it maybe is more so the easy way out than actually creating something. It sounds like they're going to be creating something for those moments, and the parts that you just need CGI for some things, you'll use CGI. So hopefully it can be the best of both worlds. Hopefully it can just be like great CGI, great animatronics all the way through.
Real quick, just real quick. What do you think of the title?
Beetlejuice, take it or leave it, to be honest with you. It's cheeky. I mean, I'm sure they'll make a third one and call it Beetlejuice just to complete the thing. But I don't know. Beetlejuice 2 is fine with me, to be honest with you. Beetlejuice, I probably won't call it ever in my life.
Literally, exactly. Remember earlier we were talking about movies with titles like Mufasa? When the
Yep.
marketing comes out, no one's going to call this Beetlejuice. They're going to say, hey, Beetlejuice, the new Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice 2. They're not going to
Yeah.
call it Beetlejuice.
Well, thank you very much for checking out this clip from our live show that we do every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time called Zach Milne Talks Live. If you like talking movies, if you like talking movie news, why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button before you leave? We do that on this channel all the time. But if you still need some time before you fully commit, you can check out the full video this clip is from right here, and you can check out another video over here. The subscribe button's right here.